Hey crew, it's Bit, and I'm back with some more MBTI. Today we're going to be diving into the last of our EFs. This is the ENFP, Extroverted Intuition, Feeling, Perceiving. Let's go ahead and see what's up. So the ENE is going to be taking in all of the possibilities at all the time. Like, that is what they do better than anything. They do it without thinking about it, without any effort at all. They are seeing everything that could come out of every single situation. And they're filtering that through their morals, right? So in the crown spot, that's going to be morals, and that is going to be what they feel responsible for. So they feel responsible for seeing all these possibilities and being moral in their choices of them. They don't really like narrowing down the possibilities and making final decisions, hardly at all, because they're concerned about their feelings and what the different possibilities could be. They don't want to settle on one. The third eye is what they're going to be defensive about. This is where it's your child slot. It's not very well developed. You get very defensive over what you do here. And for the ENFP, that is going to be TE. That is other people's thoughts and rationale. So you're going to be very much concerned with what other people say about you. You're going to filter that through your morals and your personal feelings from here and in the near past. And so you're going to be very defensive over what the tribe thinks about you. You're going to push back against that or seek that pathologically. You're also going to be very defensive over what the tribe thinks as far as what the consensus is, what the tribe's rationale is. So you're going to very much want to conform with what the people who have the letters behind their name say. Doctors and people with master's degrees are going to hold significant weight with you. For the alternate, that is SI, you're going to get very defensive over where things are placed and where things are filed and past memories and what has happened in the past. You're not going to let that go. You're going to be very defensive over this happened this way, and you're going to remember it quite well, but you're only going to be right about how you remember it about half the time. So you're going to be very defensive over that. The throat. This is what you miscommunicate. This is the inferior. This is, you get very low reception right here, right? These go, it's like 90%, 70%, 50%, 20%, 20 to 30%. So you're only getting about 20 to 30% reception right here. The information has been filtered through a lot of other things. So you're weak in this. You're not really doing this part well. And so you miscommunicate it. You don't say it the right way. You don't explain it the right way. And for the ENFP, that is going to be SI. That is what has happened in organizations. So you're going to have a tendency to misfile things. You like having it in a file, but your file doesn't necessarily conform to other people's files. You're going to be concerned with what has happened and the past experience of things, but you're not going to get it right. You're going to misremember things more often than not. For the alternate, that's going to be the throat. The throat is going to be TE, and that is going to be other people's rationale. So you're going to be miscommunicating why other people do what they do. So you're misunderstanding. Miscommunication is also misunderstanding. And so you are miscommunicating what other people think about things, or about the ideas and the thoughts and how they come to their decisions. You're just missing that. You're not getting a lot of reception right there, so you're weak in that. The heart. The heart is what you really want to do. Like, this is what will fulfill you in life. This is the job or the direction that you need to be going in your life. And for the heart, for both of you, that is going to be the NI. That is going to be the best possibility in guidance. So you need to learn how to take all of the things, all of the ideas, and narrow them down and start making some decisions. And if you can do that, that's really going to feed you. The solar plexus is going to be future feelings and ethics for both of you. And so if your tribe is ethically sound, it's going to feed you. You're going to really feel good about that, and they're going to feel good about that. The sacral is what trips you up. This is trickster energy. This is what you are intentionally choosing. You're choosing the wrong thing here most of the time when you're making a choice from this place. And so it takes a lot of intentionality to get this corrected, but you can absolutely do that. And for the ENFP, that is going to be your personal thoughts and logic. You're going to be a little bit weak on the yes nos. And not just weak, but you're intentionally choosing the wrong one. And you do that because you don't want to narrow down things. Like you're wanting all of these new ideas and all of these new experiences, and you don't want to narrow down that. You're going to be uncomfortable whenever the choice is made and you have to actually experience it, though. And you're going to be weak on your TI because you don't really want to make decisions. And that's how you're going to work on that. We'll get to that in a second. For the alternate, that is going to be SE. That is going to be the current things, exploring new things, and getting new experiences. It's completing tasks. And you are intentionally choosing not to complete tasks and things of that nature. The base is you just miss it, right? There's a lot of energy that comes in at the top and the bottom. That 90-70, that works from the bottom too. It's 90-70. You're getting all of the information. Like if it was a wire, NE and SE for an ENFP would meet at the sides. And it's kind of like goes in and it gets smaller as it gets to the middle, like a wave. And so you're getting a lot of energy at the top and the bottom, and it can be overpowering in either one of those two slots. In the base, it's overpowering in a bad way. In the top, it mostly is overpowering in a mostly good way. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's not normally detrimental in the way that the base is. The base is demon energy. This is what really messes you up. That for the ENFP, that is SE, and that is the current things in exploration. And then for the alternate, that is personal thoughts and logic. All right, Pitt. So now that we've gone through this deck, how do we integrate this? How do we make this part of us so that we can be more balanced and be better on the other side of this? Because that is what the intention here is to help you understand you and to help you correct you in the way that you want to be corrected. We're going to start at the base. We're going to start with prayer and meditation. We're going to start with taking control and taking the time to actually do these things, making the commitment to actually do these things. That's going to help you right off the top, because with the SE demon, the base energy of the SE is, I want all of the new experiences, but I don't really want to go out and get all of the new experiences. Because your get experience is SI, is in your throat. That's the misunderstood, miscommunicated part. It's the low frequency part. So you like to think about all the new things, but not really get all the new things. Because when it comes time to get the new things, you kind of freak out a little bit. You're going to have to work on that. Being able to actually make decisions is going to make a difference in your life. Being able to actually complete a task that you set for yourself is going to make a difference in your life. Getting out and being physical is going to make a difference in your life. Even if you're in an active position at work, you need to make an extra effort for yourself and intentionally for your health to move more. You're going to have a tendency to be drugged down into not moving, into not completing, and to procrastinating. That is what SE demon energy is. And so it's keeping you from accomplishing the things that you really want to. You really do. You want these new things, but you don't feel like maybe you're worth these new things. And so that's what's holding you back. You need to understand that you are worth the new things, and that making the decisions will really help you in the long run to do what you want to do, because that is another thing we're trying to do here, is help you do what you want to do. For the alternate, this is personal thoughts and logic. So you are going to be very, very weak in the TI. The TI is the yes, no, and the logic questions. You're going to have a tendency to not want to make the decisions. And so you're going to see all of these options, and you're going to be intentionally choosing the wrong option with your SE trickster because your logic is weak. So you need to strengthen your logic. You need to take the time before you make any decision at all to logic check it. Now, in the beginning, that even includes breakfast and bathing, right? Just to strengthen that decision-making process, because you need to stop and think about things a lot more. Quit diving in to something just because it seems like it might be a great idea without taking the time to actually consider whether or not it is. There's a good chance that you're seeing a lot of possibilities and you might even be choosing the right one, but you need to stop and think about it. When you make your decisions about breakfast, be like, all right, am I eating breakfast today? Yes, no. What am I having for breakfast today? Is it A or B, right? And really logic choice out your breakfast. Logic choice out your routine for getting ready for work, or for like your route for work. Logic check it. It's probably right. What you're doing right now in your daily life is probably right for the most part. But you're just strengthening that decision-making process, because the decision-making is really tripping you up. And you really need to get your logic firm, because if you get that logic good and firm, all the rest of this is going to be much easier, because you're seeing the possibilities and you're morally correct in them. So the other parts are easier to align if you've got your logic good and solid. So that's going to bring us into the sacral. This is trickster energy. This is what you are intentionally choosing the wrong thing. Nobody ever says, well, that's the wrong thing to do, let me choose that. But what you're literally doing is, well, the logical choice is to do this, but I'm going to do this anyway. Because the tribe, and I don't want to narrow down the possibilities, and you're going to go along because it makes you feel better to be thought well of by the tribe, that TE child. It's going to make you feel better to be thought well of. And so you're going to go along despite your own logic. You will know, yes, no, that this is no. But you'll be like, but the tribe says yes, so okay. Well, you're going to have to start getting a little bit firmer in that. Your logic choices, like you're making them, whereas the TI base is really just not. You're making the logic choices, you're just choosing according to the wrong criteria. So you need to change your criteria. Fix the rationale a little bit. We'll get to that, but strengthen your logic choices too. You don't have to start with breakfast, but you do need to be making the logic choices, because you do have a tendency, because of that TE child really wanting to fit in with the crowd, to push your own logic out of the way and choose what you know is not the right thing. And that makes you feel bad because your morals are so high. You know where you stand on these things, and you're letting it be pushed aside despite the fact that you feel responsible for that, because you're wanting to go along with the TE child instead of standing in your logic. You're choosing the wrong logic. For the alternate, that is going to be SE. So the thing that you are intentionally choosing wrong is the new things. It is the new experiences. It is the new stuff. And experiences is going to be a good way to explain this one here. This is chasing the new drug, or chasing the new person, or chasing the new thrill. That is where this is going to reside strongly. You know that it is a bad idea to sleep around. You know that. But you really don't care. Like, your morals are set, and you go by your morals, but it's not really very in line with anybody else's morals pretty much at all. You're not taking in at all the TE, the tribe's rationale for why they have their morals. You're very defensive over, this happened with your morals, so I am not going to do those morals. And you get trapped in, I want these new experiences all the time. And so because you're constantly longing for that new experience, you're making the wrong, like you're not making logical choices. You're not really getting that energy at all. And you're constantly wanting a new experience. Well, when the new drug hits the market, you're like, hit it up. Let's see what's happening, right? That's where you're going to reside with that. And that's not specific to drugs. That can be sex. When the new person moves in on the street, the first thing you're like, I'm going to try and tap that, right? That's that energy. It is, I have to have the new thing, and it's bad for me. It's something that I know is not the good thing, but I want the experience of it anyway. And so that's where this energy lies. Well, you're going to have to start. You've already been working on your logic. You're making the right choices about your breakfast now. And so now you need to apply that to the things that you like doing. You know they're bad for you. You know you want to quit them, but you like doing them. But you need to apply that logic that you just spent all that time firming up. Like, that's why we had to make it solid, right? All that time firming up that logic so that you can make the choice that, yeah, I'm not going to try fentanyl. Make that choice. Make that choice right now. Please make that choice right now. I'm not going to go chase the new person on the block. I'm not going to go chase the new car that I really don't need that's got a 23% interest rate. Speaking to my servicemen there, that's where this energy is. And if you can make the logical choices in the correct manner, that's really going to help you. But you have to make it about the things that you like. It has to be about the things that you enjoy, that you don't want in your life. Smoking, doing dope, chasing the new thing. Like, it really is the best way to work on this. And you're not going to like hearing that at all. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And you really have to firm that up. Like, you can't continue in life like that. It will be a short life. Don't do that. Don't do that. You've got something to do. Don't do that. Now we're going to get into what feeds y'all. The solar plexus feeds you. This is where you get your nourishment from, right? This is what really feeds your soul. And for you, that is ethics. That is being ethical. It is making people feel good into the future. And you can do that. That you see the possibilities, and you know where your morals lie. If you can get them yes/no logic checked, you know where your morals lie. And if you have those correct, you can correct the ethics, and that will make you feel better. But now you're going to do that using your heart, because the heart is what you really long to do. Right? What you really want to do is make the best choice. That's what you want to do. That's what you think you can do. And you really can't, because your logic is weak. And that's not detrimental. I'm not trying to downgrade anybody. But your yes-nos are weak. And so you really have to strengthen that. And when you can strengthen that and start making those decisions, those yes-no basic decisions, then you can get into the more complicated ones. And when you get into the more complicated ones, you can check them against your ethics. And how will people feel about this decision in the future? That once you can take the time to understand, because you really don't see this naturally. You don't see the consequences of your actions to other people naturally. You think you do. You really think you do. But you have a tendency to misread their actual emotions and their actual feelings about it, because you project onto them how you would feel about it. And so that FI parent is responsibility for how I feel, and part of that is your thinking that the other people feel the way that you feel. And that is not always the case. Some people feel differently than you. You need to expand that. You need to pull in more options there. Understand that for everything that you feel, there is a possibility that that person feels the exact opposite of you about that, and their feelings about that are valid. And if you can start doing that in a practical manner, I'm not telling you to go out and befriend everybody that you hate, but consider what they're saying. Consider what their feelings may be and how they might feel going forward with your decisions right now. It doesn't mean make a decision based on their feelings, but consider their feelings. And if you can do that, you're really strengthening that FE, and that's really going to feed your soul. It's going to play into you actually making the correct decisions, which is what you want to do. You want to take the ethics and make the best decision. Checking that back against the morals that you are responsible for, right? You're responsible for making sure that your morals are aligned with where you want to be. And then you take those morals and you give them to the tribe. And in the NI, what you're going to be doing for your heart, what you really want to do is to make the correct decisions. And when you are doing that, you can give it back to the tribe and they will feel good about it. And that will feed you. And you will be looking at the possibilities without even thinking about it. And if you've strengthened your logic and your current things, then you can actually be considering them options correctly and making the decision. Like, you're super strong when you align these things. Like super strong. Because you see them possibilities with no effort whatsoever. You cannot help it. It can be overpowering. The throat. This is what you miscommunicate or misunderstand. Like, that is two sides of the pendulum, right? Well, they're kind of the same pendulum. You're misunderstanding, so you misrepresent them, and it's a cycle that happens there. But you just tend to not get a lot of information there. You've already considered all the possibilities. You've already considered how you feel about it. And for the ENFP, you've already considered other people's thoughts about it. So you really don't think about the organization part. You don't think about what has happened. You're too concerned about the future possibilities and the future thoughts. You need to slow down on that. You need to actually do the organization. You need to actually make the lists, and you probably do. You probably make lists and then you leave them. You make lists and you don't use them. You make lists and you don't complete them. But you're making the list. You're making the filing systems. You're making the procedures. But you're not implementing them at all. You're not executing that with your SE at all. Unless you're working on your stack and now you're executing things and you're actually completing tasks that you set for yourself. Well, here's where this is where you start working on this. You need to start talking about your organization. You need to start actually implementing the things that you are trying to do. You need to actively start to put them to work for you. Take what you have explored and the logic choices that you have made. You've chosen the best possibility. Now set the organization in place. Set the ball rolling. And communicate about it. Talk to other people. Nobody can do anything entirely by themselves. And I mean, I know there's a couple things that you can do by yourself, and nobody wants to know about that. But for most things, you do need other people. You need partners, and you need financiers, or you need somebody just to do artwork. Whatever it is that you need, somebody out there can help you with. And if you're communicating this and finding the right people, and you're manifesting and doing your prayer and meditations, right, then you're pulling into your life the people that can help you with this. But you need to be the organized, because you see the possibilities. So organize them. For the alternate, that is going to be other people's thoughts and rationale. You have a tendency to overlook what other people think about things at all. Like, you don't really consider that. You don't think about how they came to their decision. You do tend to lend more weight to people with letters behind their name, but not to a great degree. You do tend to go along with the rationale because you're not logic checking it, right? So you just like, okay, they thought about it, I don't have to. And you just roll with it. But you're not getting the right TE in there. You need to expand your base, pull in some more, and start getting intentional about what you're listening to from them. You need to figure out, okay, what are these people telling me? Is that correct? Yes or no? Right? You're in the habit of yes, no checking by now. You're already 5 weeks in. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're already 5 weeks in. So you are in the habit of logic checking everything by now, right? You're doing this right? And so if you're logic checking everything, when somebody tells you some shit, pay attention. Be like, wait, what did this dude just tell me? Because that don't make no sense. And then you're logic checking it. You're looking at the actual things. Well, then you get into your third eye and you're looking for an organization. But if you're looking and you're like even in questioning other people's rationale, then you're already making progress here. You just have a tendency to not. Like somebody tells you something and you may not believe them, but you don't think about why you don't believe them. You don't think about what's behind that. And that's not like a character flaw or anything. It's just something that you tend to do. The third eye. This is seeing forward. This is the child slot. You're seeing forward into the near future and you're defensive over that. Now, you can be defensive for and defensive against anything. And for the third eye ENFP, that's TE. That is other people's thoughts. So you can either be these people have letters behind their names and you can't question that, or you are these people have letters behind their names. We have to question that. And you're very defensive over where you stand on that position. It doesn't have to necessarily mean letters. It's just whoever you consider the authority. You are very much defensive over anything that they say. You see all the possibilities. You're good with the morals. The other people's thoughts are how you make your decisions. Like your logic is way down in the bottom. You're intentionally choosing the wrong side of that. That is because other people are telling you the wrong things. You're not paying attention to the actual things. They're telling you that this happened. You're like, okay. You're not checking it with your SI throat. You're not like, did this actually happen? Did we actually do this? Did they actually do this? And so you're just going along with it and getting defensive over it. Well, you have to start paying attention to who you're listening to. I'm not going to tell you who to listen to. I'm not going to tell you whether they need letters or not. What I am going to tell you is that you need to know whether they're reliable or not. You need to logic check that. You need to look at the other options and logic check that. You're good at looking at the possibilities. Well, look at the other options. You're already doing that. You started working in your base. We're 6 weeks in now. And so you're looking at your base for everything. You're looking at what are the current things coming from this, right? What are the new experiences coming from this? How does what you are actually getting align with what these people are telling you? It could be 100% accurate, and if so, go with it. It could be 100% inaccurate, and if so, stop listening to them. Even if it's like a 50-50 ratio, you probably don't want to listen to them. And so check who you're listening to. That's going to strengthen you right here. Just making sure that you are listening to the right people. Take in more opportunities and more sources. Pull in more sources to help you get firm here, because you're going to have a tendency to just go with these. So just pull in more. For the alternate, that is going to be SI and organization. So you are going to be very defensive over your systems, over your experiences. Yes, this happened. You cannot alter what I feel about them, even though you're only right about them half the time. And you're going to be very defensive over your filing systems, over where things go in your house, where things should be put when they're not being used. Those type of situations where you're very much, like, you're very flexible with people, you're very flexible around ideas and things, but you're very much rigid about your particular things. So your work area is neat. You have things filed. And God forbid somebody put the wrong paper in the wrong slot. Then you're going to let them know about that. Well, organization is a wonderful thing. I envy you for your organization. But it is okay if other people miss it sometimes. They don't know your logic behind it because you didn't know 6 weeks ago your own logic behind it. And so you can explain that to them, and that will help you with your TE throat. Talking about why your organization system works the way it does, and it will allow them to be able to understand what your organization system is so that they can use it in the correct manner. Now, if somebody's intentionally messing up your stuff, it's okay to be defensive about it. That's why you have a defensive spot. Your stuff works. So make sure that you're explaining that, because you have a tendency to not to. You just want to blow up because they didn't go this way. I'm just going to be mad about it, and I'm not going to do whatever. I'm not going to help you anymore. Type of situation. Like, you're just going to quit considering their TE at all. Take the time to explain to them. Take the time to check your system. Make sure your system is actually what it needs to be. Make sure that it's actually functioning in the manner that you want it to. Make sure that you are actually getting the benefit from it that you think you are, because there's a chance 6 weeks ago you were not making logic choices. There's a chance that the system you've been using for the last 3 years may not make the most sense. It may not be the most efficient thing. Maybe you can do a little bit better. Check it out. See what you can do. That's going to bring us into the easy part, right? The next 2 slots are simple. Comparatively speaking, you do these without even really thinking about it. The divine slot, you get about 90% perception, and the crown slot, you get about 70%. But that 30 and that 10% can really bite you in the ass when you get them wrong. You do these without even really thinking about it. The divine, you don't even notice you're doing it, right? And the crown, you feel responsible for. So you feel responsible for your morals. Now, that is not the tribe's ethics, unless you've been working on your tribe and making sure that their ethics are correct, and that your morals and their ethics align, and that you function better that way. You're going to be very much concerned with past feelings and how this made me feel in the past. So if you see a possibility coming that will trigger what you felt in the past, that was a bad experience that you're defensive over, or that you miscommunicated, then you're gonna get very much upset about it, right? And you're not gonna want that possibility to come, so you're not gonna do anything about it. That's the throat and or the divine and the base there. So you're gonna have to actually take the time to logic check your own morals. Do you actually feel the way that you think you do? There's a chance that you don't. You didn't have a whole lot of TI, and you didn't have a tendency to get things done. So your morals may not be where you literally want them to be. They might be. You may be exactly where you want to be. Just do a self-inventory on this, and then start checking yourself for consistency in applying them in your life. You have a tendency to go along with what the tribe tells you, or to just do it because the rationale says that you should. Well, you need to start standing on your own morals and know the logic behind them, so that you can explain them to the tribe, that you can give that kickback. Hey, this is why I feel this way. This is why my thing is set this way. So that you can be stronger in where you stand morally in your own morals. I'm not here to tell you your morals. I'm here to tell you that you need to stand for your morals. And if you can do that, you're going to be doing that by looking at the options, right? You're going to see these options without even thinking about it. 90% is a lot of energy, and that's 90 to 100%. And you're getting all this information. It can be very overpowering, especially since you can't stop seeing possibilities. Something is coming, and you're like, there's a truck coming down the road at you, and you're like, he could veer this way, he could veer this way, he could go this way, he could get a bump, he could flip over, he could do this. And that's just constantly playing in your head. You've got to get control of that. By understanding, first and foremost, that is almost a superpower. To be able to see all of these possibilities is a superpower. You need to be able to make the correct choices dealing with that. And that's where your problem has been lying. With your TI and your SE so low, you're not really taking these possibilities and applying them logically or to the current situation. So you need to do that. You need to take the logic that you've been working on since the beginning and the current situations that you have been working on since the beginning and apply them to these options. Now, you're going to do that using your morals, so you're not going to violate that. But figure out which ones are more likely, yes or no. Is this likely to happen now or in the future? Yes or no. And start checking with your logic intentionally the ideas that are coming, and it will slow them down because you will get consistent in them. When you're going through traffic and the car's coming and you're like, oh my God, is it going to come? Say no. Every time. Be like, nope, not going to happen. Nope, not going to happen. And soon you will quit asking that question. You will still see it, but you won't really ask yourself that. And that's going to help you here. Because when you miss possibilities, when you see 90% of them, but when that 1% or that 10%, that little range right there, when that comes in, it really hits you hard. That possibility that you missed hits you hard. And it is simply because you were not logic checking the current situation. So start doing that. That's really going to help. As far as what you need to do professionally, you're really going to want to be choosing the best possibility. And that, generally speaking, is by taking the best options, filtering them through your morals, applying that to the ethics of the tribe, and then giving people the best experience or the best possibility. And so career counseling, pastoral services, it's an F. That's what they do. But also, for the alternate in particular, organization is really good. For the ENFP, you're going to be good at helping people to do things. You're going to be able to see the things and morally check against them, and then give it to the tribe, who you consider your tribe, in a way that's responsible. And so you're going to be good assistants. That's not to say that you can't lead. Never to say you can't lead. Leading is assistance. It is assisting people to do what you have assigned them tasks to do. That is what leadership is. You're constantly facilitating other people. And so you're good at that. If you're in a position where you're a department manager and you can make sure that you are seeing the possibilities that are coming, and you know that they are morally correct choices, you can direct the tribe in the way that it needs to be directed. You can push back against the TE and tell them what to do in a way that is logically consistent based on the current situation. And you really will excel at that type of a situation. Until you are strong, you really need to assist somebody in that, because you need to see where the logic lies in the decisions. You need to look at how the logic applies to the current situations, because you are weak in those areas. So always strive to be the leader. Always strive to be the one that someone comes to. Always. You're good at looking at the situation or the possibilities and making the moral correct choices. So anything that you can do where you are doing that is going to work. You're going to be taking the possibilities and narrowing them down through your morals against the ethics, making sure that those things are aligned, and then giving them back to the tribe as the best possibility is really going to feed you. Efficiency management, that type of thing, is going to be good too. Taking the ideas and narrowing them down. As far as the relationship, you need somebody who has in the top 4 slots, divine, crown, third eye, or throat, what you have in your sacral. So if you're an ENFP, that is going to be TI, and if you're an alternate, that is going to be an SE. You want that in the top because that will strengthen what you specifically lack, which you are intentionally choosing wrong. And if they have it in the defensive slot, their third eye slot, that's even better, because they can be defensive over where you're making the wrong choices. You'll have to be honest about how this is happening, but that's going to strengthen you more than anything. If you've got somebody that directly correlates in that manner, but you need someone who has where you're lacking in their top. They do that automatically. They're good at that. You're weak at that. What you're good at, they're weak at. You complement each other. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a not too difficult topic. Once you get the basics of this, and if you're unfamiliar with the basics, they will be linked up here. I'm never good at pointing at the thing. It will be linked up here on the Infinite Integrations playlist. So if you're unfamiliar with the basics, get familiar with the basics, and this becomes very much an easy way to help you understand how to help yourself. I'm helping you to figure out where the logic choices are. I'm helping you to see the current situation so that you can make the changes in your own life that you want to do. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to give you the tools that you need to change yourself. Hopefully, I helped with that. If you like what I'm doing, let me know in the comments. Give me a like, share, and a follow. Hit the bells and whistles. Do all the good things. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you, and this has been Pitt. Peace.